The discovery, the emergency sirens echoed through the crystalline halls of the Zephyrian Confederation's command center. Admiral Kekstar's 4 arms moved with practiced efficiency as he reviewed the incoming data streams. His reptilian features showed deep concern as the numbers scrolled across his bioluminescent display screen. "This cannot be accurate," he muttered, his forked tongue flicking out to taste the air. The readings showed massive energy signatures from Sector 7 Alpha, a region that had been marked as uninhabitable wasteland for over 800 years. Commander Velinari approached, her scales shifting from blue to worried purple. "Admiral, we've confirmed the readings with 3 separate deep space sensors. The energy output is consistent with a Type 2 civilization." Kekstar's primary eyes focused on the data, while his secondary eyes scanned the room. The Zephyrian Confederation had ruled this part of the galaxy for millennia. They knew every star system, every habitable world, every spacefaring species. Nothing this large could simply appear overnight. "Prepare the reconnaissance fleet," he ordered. "I want our best ships and most experienced crews. If someone is building an empire in our territory, we need to know who and why." 3 days later, the Zephyrian fleet approached the edge of Sector 7 Alpha. What they found defied all logic and understanding. Space that should have been empty was filled with activity. Massive space stations orbited barren-looking worlds. Ships moved in organized patterns between planets. Most shocking of all, several worlds showed clear signs of atmospheric processing and terraforming. "Run a full-spectrum analysis," Kekstar commanded. "I want to know everything about these installations." The science officer's hands danced across his controls. After several minutes, he looked up with confusion written across his scaled features. "Admiral, these structures are old. Based on material degradation and construction techniques, some of these stations have been here for at least 3 centuries. "Impossible," Velinari said. "We surveyed this sector 200 years ago. Our records show nothing but dead worlds and asteroid fields." The communications officer suddenly straightened. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission. It's coming from the largest station. Put it through," Kekstar ordered. A voice came through the speakers, speaking perfect galactic standard, but with an accent none of them recognized. "Greetings, Zephyrian vessels. This is Captain Maya Chen of the Terran Colonial Administration. Welcome to the New Horizons system. Please state your intentions." The bridge fell silent. Kekstar had never heard of any species called Terrans. "This is Admiral Kekstar of the Zephyrian Confederation. We are conducting a routine survey of this sector. Our records indicate this system is uninhabited." There was a pause, then what sounded like gentle laughter. "Admiral, with respect, your records appear to be outdated. We've been here for quite some time. Would you like to come aboard and discuss this properly?" Kekstar exchanged glances with Velinari. Protocol demanded caution when encountering unknown species, but curiosity and duty required investigation. "Very well, Captain Chen. We accept your invitation." An hour later, Kekstar found himself in a docking bay, unlike anything he had ever seen. The technology was clearly advanced, but it had a different feel from Zephyrian or any other known galactic. Engineering, clean lines, efficient design, and an odd sense of warmth that was unusual in space installations. Captain Maya Chen met them at the airlock. Kekstar was surprised by her appearance. She walked on only 2 legs, had hair growing from her head, and skin that was neither scaled nor kit. She was smaller than most spacefaring species he knew, but something about her posture suggested confidence and strength. "Admiral Kekstar," she said, extending one of her appendages in what seemed to be a greeting gesture. "Thank you for accepting our invitation. I'm Captain Chen, and this is Dr. James Rodriguez, our colonial administrator." The second being was taller than Chen, with darker skin and the same strange Tulum locomotion. Rodriguez smiled, showing white teeth. "Admiral, we understand this must be confusing. Perhaps we can clear up some misunderstandings." They were led to a meeting room with large windows that looked out onto the bustling space around the station. Kekstar counted dozens of ships moving in organized patterns, construction vessels working on new installations, and what appeared to be massive agricultural platforms. "How long have you been here?" Kekstar asked directly. "In this system specifically?" "About 250 years, Chen replied casually. "Terraforming takes time, even with our best technology." Velinari's scales shifted to an alarmed red. 250 years. That's impossible. We would have detected you." Dr. Rodriguez activated a holographic display. "Commander, may I ask when your last detailed survey of this sector was conducted?" 203 years ago, Velinari answered. "Full census sweep, atmospheric analysis, mineral surveys. The reports showed dead worlds with toxic atmospheres." "Ah," Rodriguez said, touching the display. "That would explain it. Look at this." The hologram showed the same system, but as it would have appeared over 2 centuries ago. The worlds were indeed dead and toxic, just as the Zephyrian records indicated. Then the display began showing changes over time. Slowly, the worlds transformed. Atmospheric processors worked for decades. Orbital mirrors adjusted sunlight. Massive engineering projects gradually turned dead rocks into garden worlds. "We specialize in very long-term projects," Chen explained. "Our people are patient. We plan in centuries, not decades." Kekstar was studying the timeline. "But how did you avoid detection during all this construction?" "Stealth technology," Rodriguez said simply, "and careful timing. We worked during periods when we knew survey ships wouldn't be in the area. Most of our major construction happened in the shadow of gas giants or asteroid fields. Stealth technology advanced enough to hide terraforming operations." Velinari asked skeptically. Chen activated another display. "Commander, would you be interested in seeing our current territorial holdings?" The hologram expanded to show a 3-dimensional map of the galaxy. Blue dots appeared throughout the display, indicating human colonies and installations. Kekstar felt his stomach drop as more and more dots appeared. They weren't just in Sector 7 Alpha. They were everywhere. "This is impossible," he whispered. "To 112 inhabited worlds," Dr. Rodriguez said quietly. 47 star systems under direct human administration. Another 130 systems with human settlements or installations. Total population, just over 38 billion. The room was dead silent. The Zephyrian Confederation controlled 53 systems with a population of 12 billion. These unknown humans had built an empire nearly 3 times the size of the Confederation without anyone noticing. "How?" was all Kekstar could manage to say. Captain Chen smiled again. "Admiral, humans have a saying, slow and steady wins the race. We don't expand through conquest or intimidation. We find empty systems, dead worlds, places others consider worthless. Then we make them valuable. Your people must be incredibly advanced," Velinari said. "In some ways," Rodriguez agreed, "but mostly we're persistent and patient, and we work together very well." Chen activated one more display. Admiral, we know about the Zephyrian Confederation. We know about the Empire, the Vegan Trade Coalition, and the Centauri Defense Pact. We've been watching galactic politics for a long time. Kekstar's eyes widened. You know about all the major powers. Of course, Chen said. We've been here longer than you might think. In fact, some of our settlements are older than the current Confederation government. Why reveal yourselves now? Kekstar asked. Dr. Rodriguez looked at Captain Chen, who nodded. Because it's time, she said. We've reached a point where hiding is no longer practical or beneficial. We'd like to establish formal diplomatic relations with our galactic neighbors, and if we refuse, Velinari asked. Chen's expression remained friendly. Commander, we hope it won't come to that. Humans prefer cooperation to conflict, but we're not helpless. As if on cue, alerts began sounding on the Zephyrian ships. Through the meeting room windows, they could see sleek human vessels appearing throughout the system, ships that hadn't been there moments before. Stealth technology, Rodriguez explained calmly. We have about 400 ships in this system alone. They've been here the whole time. Kekstar realized that everything had changed. The galaxy he thought he knew was completely different. An entire human civilization had been growing and expanding in secret, and now they were ready to step into the light. What do you want from us? He asked finally. Captain Chen stood and walked to the window, looking out at the bustling space traffic. Admiral, we want what every civilization wants: peace, trade, mutual cooperation, and respect. We're offering partnership, not demanding submission. We'll need time to process this information, Kekstar said. Of course, Chen replied. But Admiral, there's something else you should know. What? Chen turned back to face him, her expression serious. We're not the only ones you don't know about. The truth unfolds. The return journey to Zephyrian space was the longest 3 days of Admiral Kekstar's career. The data collected from the human station challenged everything the Confederation believed about galactic civilization. As soon as they entered Confederation space, urgent messages began flooding in from the High Council. Admiral, came the voice of Counselor Zexana through the quantum communicator. Your preliminary report has caused considerable concern. The Council demands a full briefing within the hour. The Confederation's capital world of Zephyros Prime buzzed with activity as news of the discovery spread. The vast council chambers filled with representatives from dozens of member worlds, all demanding answers to impossible questions. Kekstar stood before the assembled council, his 4 arms clasped behind his back. Honored councillors, what we have discovered changes our understanding of galactic civilization. The humans have built an empire that rivals our own, and they did it without any of us noticing. Councillor Vextar, eldest of the council, raised a clawed hand. Admiral, you're asking us to believe that a previously unknown species has secretly colonized hundreds of worlds. How is this possible? With respect, Counselor, I'm not asking you to believe anything. I'm presenting facts. Kekstar activated the holographic display, showing the human territorial map. Gasps and alarmed chittering filled the chamber. They call themselves humans, or Terrans, Kekstar continued. Their technology is remarkably advanced in areas we never considered priority. Stealth systems, atmospheric engineering, long-range resource management. They think in time frames that span centuries. Councillor Bexnari leaned forward. What are their intentions? Are they hostile, unknown? But their initial approach suggests peaceful intentions. They're requesting formal diplomatic recognition and trade agreements. Commander Velinari stepped forward with additional data. Counselors, based on our analysis, human technology in several fields exceeds our own capabilities. Their stealth systems are beyond our current detection methods. Their terraforming technology could transform our understanding of planetary engineering. The Council erupted in concerned discussions. Through the chaos, Councillor Zexana's voice cut through. What did they mean when they said they're not the only ones we don't know about? Kekstar had been dreading that question. They implied that other unknown civilizations exist within what we consider mapped space. Before anyone could respond, an aide rushed into the chamber. Councillors, we have an urgent transmission from the Border Patrol. Unknown ships have appeared simultaneously in 17 different systems. The main display activated, showing reports from across Confederation space. Ships of unknown design were appearing near major trade routes and border systems. All were broadcasting the same message. Attention, Zephyrian Confederation, came a voice speaking perfect galactic standard. This is Director Sarah Kim of the Terran Colonial Administration. We request permission to establish formal diplomatic contact. Kekstar felt his scales shift. Color involuntarily. 17 systems simultaneously. The coordination required for that operation is beyond our current capabilities, Velinari finished. Councillor Zexana stood. Open a channel. The central display activated, showing a human female with short dark hair and intelligent eyes. Behind her, Kekstar could see what appeared to be a massive command center with dozens of humans working at control stations. Councillors of the Zephyrian Confederation, Director Kim said formally. I am Director Sarah Kim, speaking for the Terran Colonial Administration. We come in peace to establish formal relations between our peoples. Director Kim, Councillor Zexana replied, Your people's sudden appearance has caused considerable concern. We request clarification of your intentions. Of course, Councillor. With your permission, I'd like to provide a more complete picture of the current galactic situation. The display changed to show a three-dimensional map of the galaxy. Blue dots indicated human territories, but now other colors appeared as well. Red dots scattered throughout Altarian space, green clusters in vegan territory, purple markers near Centauri systems. What are we looking at? Councillor Vextar demanded. The galaxy as it actually exists, Director Kim replied calmly. The blue markers represent human settlements. The red markers are Klaxon refugee colonies. The green dots are ethereal research stations. The purple markers indicate wanderer trading posts. Kekstar felt his world shifting again. You're saying there are 4 unknown civilizations operating in galactic space. Not unknown to each other, Kim corrected. Unknown to the major galactic powers. We've been cooperating and trading for centuries. We formed what you might call a shadow network of civilizations. Velinari stepped forward. Why reveal yourselves now? Director Kim's expression became serious. Because the galaxy is about to face a challenge that will require all of our civilizations working together. The Devourers are coming. The name meant nothing to any of the Zephyrians, but the way Kim said it sent chills through the chamber. Who are the Devourers? Councillor Zexana asked. An extragalactic species that consumes entire star systems for energy. Our deep space monitors detected their scout ships entering the galaxy 6 months ago. Based on their historical patterns, the main fleet will arrive within 2 years. The chamber erupted in chaos. Councillor after councillor demanded proof, explanations, impossible guarantees. Kim waited for the noise to die down. Councillors, We have extensive data on devourer capabilities gathered from other galaxies. No single civilization can stand against them, but together we have a chance. What are you proposing? Kextar asked. Full disclosure between all galactic civilizations, shared technology, coordinated defense strategies, the formation of a true galactic alliance. Kim paused. The humans and our shadow network partners are prepared to share all of our technological advances in exchange for cooperation. Counselor Vexter leaned back in his chair. You're asking us to trust species we've never heard of based on threats we've never encountered. I understand your skepticism, Kim replied. But consider this. We could have remained hidden. We could have let the major powers face the devourers alone while we retreated to our hidden colonies. Instead, we're offering partnership. What technologies are you offering? Velinari asked, her scientific curiosity overcoming diplomatic caution. The display changed again, showing technical specifications that made even experienced Zephyrian engineers gasp. Advanced FTL drives, energy shields, terraforming equipment, and most importantly, stealth and detection systems. Our cloaking technology could hide entire fleets, Kim explained. Klaxon phase shifting allows ships to become partially intangible. Ethereal psionic networks enable instantaneous communication. Across the galaxy, Wanderer navigation systems can plot courses through dimensions we're only beginning to understand. Kextar studied the technical data. If even half of it was accurate, it represented advancement far beyond current Confederation capabilities. What would you require in return? Counselor Zexana asked. Equal partnership in a galactic defense alliance, shared resources and knowledge, and most importantly, an end to the territorial conflicts that have prevented true cooperation between major powers. The implications were staggering. The Confederation, the Altarian Empire, the Vegan Trade Coalition, and the Centauri Defense Pact had maintained an uneasy balance for centuries. Creating a true alliance would require unprecedented cooperation. We'll need time to consider your proposal. Counselor Zexana said finally. Of course, Kim replied, but Counselor, time is limited. We estimate 18 months before the Devourer main fleet arrives. Alliance formation, technology transfer, and defense coordination will require every day we have. We'll convene the full Galactic Council, Kextar said. All major powers will need to be involved. Already arranged, Kim said with a slight smile. Representatives from each major civilization are receiving similar presentations at this moment. We've learned that coordination is essential for success. After the transmission ended, the chamber remained silent for long minutes. Finally, Counselor Vextar spoke. Admiral, your assessment. Kextar considered carefully. Counselors, the humans demonstrated their ability to operate undetected in our space for centuries. They revealed themselves voluntarily and offered technological advantages we cannot match. If they intended conquest, they could have struck without warning, and the threat they describe, unknown, but the humans' willingness to reveal themselves suggests they believe the danger is real and immediate. Counselor Zexana stood. Then we face a choice. Maintain our traditional isolation and face unknown threats alone, or accept partnership with civilizations we never knew existed. 3 days later, representatives from every major galactic power gathered on the neutral world of Nexus Prime. Humans, Klaxons, Ethereals, and Wanderers joined Zephyrians, Altarians, Vegans, and Centaurians in the largest diplomatic gathering in galactic history. Admiral Kekstar stood with Director Kim and Captain Chen as agreements were signed, technology exchange protocols established, and defense strategies planned. The galaxy had changed forever, but perhaps, he thought, that change would save them all. "Admiral," Captain Chen said quietly, "thank you for being open to new possibilities." Captain Kekstar replied, "Thank you for showing us that the galaxy is far more interesting than we ever imagined." As they watched the formal alliance ceremonies, Kekstar couldn't help but wonder what other secrets the galaxy held. But for the first time in days, he felt hope instead of fear about finding out.